Hello, beautiful homemakers. Ladies, we are finally to the fun stuff. We are beginning pamphlet 5 of the original 1922 Fascinating Womanhood pamphlets. The first 4 pamphlets were all about developing a worthy character and giving you guidance on what men really want in a woman, even though they'd never tell you this in person. In pamphlet 1, we covered the 5 stages of winning a man and why men are hard to win. In pamphlet 2, we discussed the kind of woman a man wants and developing your latent power. In pamphlet 3, we talked about the real charm and how to acquire it and winning a man's admiration. And in pamphlet 4, we talked about the quality that inspires love and learning to reveal your real self. Now in pamphlet 5, we're going to discuss the appearance that fascinates, where and how to meet men, the peculiarities of human nature in men, and I'll give you a peek into pamphlet 6, making men notice you, and a method of arousing interest. And then there's still pamphlet 7 and 8 beyond that. So here is pamphlet 5, chapter 9, the appearance that fascinates. If you have practiced the exercises given in the last chapter, and if you have succeeded in assuming for short periods of time the manner of Angela Human and your other models of femininity, such as Mrs. Muir or others, you have no doubt already found it necessary to change your apparel to harmonize with this newly acquired manner. And this is a layering effect. I am much more conscious of it now, even though I have gone through my closet repeatedly. I realize, especially when I'm with my women's group, I dress more masculine then. I can feel a difference just at the grocery store in the way people treat me when I'm dressed in pants versus when I'm in a dress. And in the winter, I am much more likely to be in pants. You have found that in certain outfits you look the part you were acting, and that in others you did not look it or feel it. You have probably discovered that you are able to appear just as feminine in a smart bungalow apron or kimono as in your latest party dress. I bet in 1922 the majority of women didn't even wear pants. From now on, this should be the only guide in the selection of clothes, whether or not they make you look the part of the innocent, charming, mischievous, and fun-loving bundle of girlishness you are trying to act. If you're a new listener, you have absolutely no idea what we're talking about, and you need to go back and review the first 4 pamphlets. Play it at double speed. Get through it. Of course, if you don't give a darn what men think, then you shouldn't be listening to these videos. The whole point of these booklets are to attract and keep your man. If you're saying, I don't care what any man thinks, you have a whole different issue, and we have already talked about that in past videos, and I'm not going to rehash it. This video just isn't for you. But let's quickly touch on the elephant in the living room, which is, are women who work going to be able to dress in this innocent, charming, mischievous, and fun-loving bundle of girlishness dress? Chances are they are not. Very few of them, in fact. So it is very important that if you are trying to catch a man's attention, that when you are not working, you need to dress how you want to be perceived by a potential mate, as discussed in the last several videos. Our feminine instinct has been pounded out of us in the culture, and we need to act feminine until we let these feminine instincts resurface. At first it's going to feel foreign, but then it will become easier and easier, especially dependent upon how you dress. This also means that you need to recognize the fact that you will never meet your potential spouse in a bar, because good girls, they don't flirt with boys in bars. A man is not looking for a good girl in a bar. When a man wants to find a wife, he will not search for her there. Where did you two meet? In a bar? No, doesn't happen. I'm not going to pretend that I know everything about dating apps because I've been happily married for 20 years now. But from what I've heard, some dating apps are fine. Most are not. It is quite possible to meet someone or find someone who can introduce you to someone in a service organization, at a fundraiser, a wedding, birthday party, botanical garden, concert in the park. If you're of college age, in college libraries. If you want to marry a studious man, you would find him in a library. Church events. And as I talked about in the very last video, about why he won't marry you, you have to be very careful, ladies, when meeting a man at a church event or just in visiting a church, because men looking for good girl wives will show up for that very reason only. They are looking for a wife. They've no interest in following Jesus. They are wolves disguised as sheep. If he isn't a strong Christian, you let him go. He will only cause chaos and disappointment and heartbreak in your life, no matter how cute he is. Don't marry a Christian in name only. In obtaining the appearance that fascinates, even when you aren't classically beautiful, there is so much you can do to enhance your appearance. So let's go back to the Enchanted Cottage. The difference between Laura Pennington and beautiful Laura was simply, number one, makeup. When the actress played unbecoming Laura, she insisted on having no makeup on during that part. A major part of her beautification process was simply taking care of her skin and applying makeup. Number two was her hair. Unbecoming Laura didn't wear a flattering hairstyle, and she didn't wash it enough. She wasn't using conditioner. Number three was a big one. Unbecoming Laura had thick eyebrows. They weren't shaped at all. Now, in our culture today, women are doing strange things with their eyebrows. A natural arch looks best, not overplucked and not too thick. A trend is women going too thick with their eyebrows and they look harsh. They look like an angry bird. And number four, unbecoming Laura's clothes were shabby and ill-fitting. The actress said that she wore old clothes with holes in it so that it caused her to actually slump her shoulders a little bit with her greasy hair and her ugly eyebrows and no makeup in her old shabby clothes. She said she felt like a drudge. But number five, when she beautified the outside of her, paid attention to her clothes, she began to carry herself more upright and proud, and she felt beautiful and became more beautiful in everyone's eyes. This is the same actress, obviously. And there's no reason we can't do the same thing. If you'll remember from that movie, when she is in the garden painting, And when she's serving him dinners on a tray when he was still sulking in his room, she was still charming, kind, and sweet. And that is what first attracted him to her. Several times he forgot that she was homely, because men are first attracted to a worthy character. We've talked about this a lot. I hope it is sinking in. And believe it or not, that enchantment of the enchanted cottage is a real thing to married couples who are still in love. That story just maximizes the truth that when we see others through our hearts, they are always beautiful to us. Even if you have gained a pound for every year of your marriage, like most people do, in his mind's eye, he still sees you as a slimmer version of yourself. Now I'm talking to married women. It's just like before you have a baby, you think of changing diapers as disgusting. Yet when you have your own baby, changing diapers is no big deal. In fact, it's a bonding experience for you and your baby. He coos as you sing to him. You rub noses. And before you know it, it's done. But here's a side note, women. Formula is what causes disgustingly stinky diapers. Whereas if your baby is exclusively breastfed, their diapers won't be that bad at all. It'll be no big deal. Remember that. And this enchantment, it also works on your own house. When you are the one who is scrubbing and polishing your own counters, sinks, and floors, you actually grow to love your house much more than if you were to turn over those tasks to a housekeeper. So the appearance that fascinates men even 100 years later really isn't what the magazines try and sell you of that suave woman wearing a pantsuit and, she's got her laptop computer and she's doing a deal. No. Men actually are looking for a woman who comes across as innocent, charming, mischievous, and a fun-loving bundle of girlishness. Shocking, but true. Why don't you test it and find out? Let's move on. The test for clothes. Except for actresses and other women who are skilled in the arts of professional femininity, few girls and women select clothes from the proper point of view. Most women are inclined to attach too much importance to the apparel itself, and not enough to the impression which they themselves make in it. That is so important. A costume which will make one woman appear bewitching may only serve to make another appear out of place and awkward. A color or material or a style that is perfectly becoming to one woman will be the opposite to another. Then there are innumerable garments which are good-looking in themselves, stylish, and of good material, but which will detract from the charm of almost anyone who wears them, because they don't look good on you for a variety of reasons. For instance, boat necks look good on a vast majority of women, but one of my shoulders is just a little bit higher than another. And I've had to learn that boat neck tops do not look good on me because they'll slide down more on one side. Then I really look lopsided. V-necks look best on me, but that doesn't mean it's going to look best on you. Be sure you take pictures and have a full-length mirror in your bedroom. In selecting clothes, therefore, you should put aside entirely the merit or the beauty of the apparel itself and be guided only by the help or the hindrance they give to your efforts to look the part of Angela Human. So when it said an outfit that may appear bewitching on one woman but will look out of place and awkward on another, that reminds me of when I was in my 20s and a friend absolutely insisted that I wear this fashionable pair of the most ugly colored jeans I had ever seen in my life. They had yellow neon in these blue jeans. Oh, it was hideous. And unfortunately, I gave in. And I spent the most miserable night out because I felt awkward and unbecoming. And I wasn't out there looking to get a man. We were just shopping on Balboa Island. But I felt like everyone was looking at my jeans and either raising their eyebrows or laughing at me. And that was the night I swore to never again wear something that made me feel so out of my element. So later, just on a walk, like 20 years later, my aunt tried to give me an orange shirt to wear just on a walk. Now, I detest the color orange, especially on clothing, and I refused to wear it. And she was a little bit offended, like, "Oh, this is perfectly fine on me. Why are you refusing to wear it?" Well, because it was a perfectly fine color on her. Her coloring was completely different than mine. So I explained that while she looked stunning in it, I would look sickly. So she relented and gave me a white shirt instead. As I've mentioned so many times before, and I'm going to continue to mention because we always have new people joining us, it is very important to know your best colors. And if you keep dyeing your hair a different color, or if you're going gray, your colors will keep changing. So try to go back to your most natural color, and you'll find you'll look better all the time, and that you can keep clothes in your closet that look best on you with your normal hair color. You can go to stylebycolor.com and take the free color quiz and watch the video The Art of Color at Alexandra's Girly Talk. She's done her homework on color theory. It starts about 2 minutes in. Now this very same aunt, she can wear chunky pieces of statement jewelry, but I cannot because I'm shorter than she is. She can have large-sized purses and earrings and necklaces, but I can't. I need medium-sized. And when I wear large statement jewelry, I don't feel comfortable in it, even when it's pretty. Petite women need small, dainty jewelry and small purses. And if you're a woman who doesn't like to change purses often, then buy one to match the color of your hair, and you'll always look polished. Sherry Brindell of Style by Color was the one who gave me that tip. And the same is true of your shoes and your ankle boots. If you can only have one, then match the color of your hair. I also want to remind you that a few months ago we talked about animal prints. Sherry Brandell and her team of consultants will tell you which animal prints look best on you. But as I have mentioned, if you are looking to attract a man, you do not want to wear animal prints, because what men see in a woman that wears animal prints is she is easy, she's loose, she's feisty, and she's on the prowl. Is that the image you want to be showing to anyone? Being on the prowl and dressing in animal prints is why older women looking for men are called cougars. Remember that. And don't perpetuate that. So that was the test for clothes. Now we're going to read the section called the Huggable Dress. The importance of dress in accomplishing this purpose, and the purpose is to look the part of Angela Human, cannot be overestimated. The importance of dress in accomplishing this purpose cannot be overestimated. Your own experience with children will probably make it more vivid. A child is a child and acts like a child one day as well as another. But the appeal which a little child of 4 years old makes to you in a soiled calico dress, ragged stockings, and untidy hair is quite different from the appeal which the same child makes on Sunday when dressed in a lovely pink bonnet, soft organdy dress, with little pink knees dimpling above cute little socks and slippers, and with a dainty hair ribbon and freshly curled hair setting off her bright little face. You might look upon the everyday child with indifference, but you cannot resist the impulse to gather up that Sunday child and press her sweetness to your heart. The fascination which a beautiful and attractively dressed child has for you is much the same fascination which a pretty and attractively dressed woman has for men. Let us examine this matter further. Now, if this same child, instead of dressing in the lovely Sunday outfit described or in the untidy everyday one, should be arrayed in a sleek, tailored black dress, full-length stockings, a severely plain dark hat, with her hair plastered close to her head, she would make hardly any appeal whatever to you. They're kind of describing a flapper, aren't they? They're the ones that would have that greased hair flattened to the sides of their head. Without the little pink knees, the ribbons, the soft, gauzy, and huggable dress, and the vivid colors, she doesn't seem to be the same lovable child. She must, in order to appeal to your love for children, wear a costume that will make you realize her childishness. In the same manner, a woman, to attract men, must wear garments that will make men realize her femininity. They must help to bring out the contrast between her tenderness and the man's strength. Everything we talked about in the prior pamphlets. Mannish styles, mannish materials, and mannish colors will never do. To be most fascinating, the woman must wear only those colors, only those materials, and only those styles which are least suggestive of those used by the men themselves, and which therefore make the greatest contrast with the man's own apparel. And that reminds me of a story from my 20s. My work was having a Christmas party at a fancy hotel, and we were all talking about the dresses we were going to wear. It was a pretty dressy affair, and one of the women said that she was really excited about what she was going to wear, but she wasn't going to tell us. It was going to be a big surprise. I don't know what put this idea into her mind, but she came to the party wearing a tuxedo, and her husband was in a tuxedo. She had been excited to wear it for some reason, which I can't comprehend. But when she walked in and she saw how beautifully the rest of us were dressed, I could see in her face that she knew she had made a huge mistake. The rest of the night, instead of a genuine smile, her smile was just plastered on. It made a really large impression on me that unisex outfits are not a good idea. We need masculine dress and feminine dress. When you dress like a man, and I'm picturing Drew Barrymore and how she's been dressing lately. She's had another divorce, and she wants to put off men. She wants to dress off-puttingly. She doesn't want men attracted to her. It's very obvious because she's dressing like a man. When you dress like a man, you are about as attractive and huggable as that dirty child with the snotty nose. But when you dress like a girly girl, not overdoing the frills and ruffles, but wearing soft cashmere in a bright color that's perfect for your skin tone, especially with a hint of lace somewhere, you are as sweet as that freshly bathed baby, drowsy for sleep. Now, do you remember several videos ago when I told you about that black dress with the pink flowers that I loathed? Until I began wearing it and realized how men responded to me in it? It is so threadbare now, after 25 years of wear, that I only wear it indoors. And now I'll pair it with silky pink socks that have a little lace ruffle and a little rose on the side of the sock, with ballerina-style shoes. That outfit now is only for my darling husband, and he thinks I look adorable in this ensemble. But I would feel ridiculous wearing it out in public. However, I now have these lacy socks in every color to match my pajamas. I also own several pairs of long boot socks that I then turn down, and they have because I only wear ankle boots, they have a very small edge of crocheted lace that I do wear in public, often when we go walking when I'm wearing shorts, because they look feminine, but they're not overly frilly like the pink socks with the little rose and a yard of lace. It's those little touches that make you stand out to men in a good feminine way. Because it is true, girly girls do get snapped up first for marriage. So which image are you projecting? Wholesome innocence or vamp? One is wife material. One is one-night stand material. And men don't marry the vamps. Remember, as we talked about last time, once he's had you, there's no more reason to chase you. I've also told this story before, but again, we have new people listening all the time, so I'm going to mention it as a reminder for the rest of you. My gorgeous blonde friend was outrageously flirty one day at a spa resort we were at, and when we were in the pool, she was batting her eyelashes and cooed to the man, "But would you marry me?" And he laughed in her face and said, "No, I would never marry you. I'd marry your friend, but you'd make a fine mistress." Wholesome or one-night stand? What are you projecting? If your character doesn't match the wholesome apparel, though, we talked about character in pamphlets 1 through 4, then your adorable togs will not do you any good in the long run. And yes, men will test you. They love to prove that you're not really a good girl. Remember, men say it is their job to pursue. It is your job to block. Now let's finish up this part on the huggable dress. We are not talking about a tight-fitting bandage dress, are we? We're talking about a dress that a man wants to touch because you look so soft and cuddlesome. Watch one of the girls who is smart enough to have learned this lesson. And the lesson was choosing your colors, materials, and styles that are the opposite of what men wear. She is constantly asking herself, am I looking my best? And by best, she means her most girlish. So effective is this insistence upon dainty girlishness in her apparel at all times that when she enters a ballroom, she is immediately singled out by a score of masculine eyes. Every man wants to meet her, wants to see if she is really as adorable as she looks. He's looking for that worthy character. And every man wants to do something to make her realize what a man he himself is. Femininity in you draws out masculinity in the man. Few men will believe at first glance that she is not inwardly what she appears to be outwardly. A winsome, innocent, wholesome, adorably human bundle of concentrated girlishness. Next time we'll talk about putting dainty girlishness into apparel. Don't forget to take the quiz at stylebycolor.com and also watch The Art of Color over at Alexandra's Girly Talk YouTube channel. I'll link below.